Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined once again by Amos Bracewell, and he's here to share today about the Catapult program. We got a special 10% discount that you can claim before April 30th. And Amos wants to share a little bit about some of the challenges, some of the apprehensions, some of the things that he went
Yeah.
through on the journey to getting to where he is with his Facebook group. So, Amos, why don't you dive right in?
Thanks, Andrew. And yeah, they have till the end of day, April 30th, to take advantage of this offer through you. Well, I just let people know, quite honestly, when I started this, I knew for about 5 months, actually, you're the guy, Andrew, that when I got this idea, I was on the phone with you. I was sitting literally at this coffee shop, a Good Kid coffee shop in Abbotsford, British Columbia. I was sitting literally right out there, about 8 feet away, almost 2 years ago this coming summer. And it took me about 5 months because I had a vision to move in a direction, but I didn't know how to do it. I was like, what are the results going to be? I had no coach. I just knew I was supposed to start this Facebook group to create this movement. I didn't know that in 15 and a half months, we would have hit 10,000 members, and which leads to all sorts of obviously monetization and opportunities for growth. But I was scared. I was excited, but I didn't know how I was going to accomplish this. And you were there, Andrew. So you saw me jump in and figure out a path that would later become the way of for the Catapult members. But I didn't know I was doing that. Case in point, like you ever have that where you go through life and you look back on your past and you're like, oh, that makes sense now. But when I was doing it, it did not make sense. I just felt compelled to keep going forward. I felt like just commit to it, just give it 10 months, 10 months. I kept hearing that, just give it 10 months. And within 10 months, this breakthroughs emerged. And so, the Catapult members are getting the benefits of the fact that I was the first into the fire. Just like whenever you're the first in and you create a new path for others to follow, you take all the arrows, you give the sacrifice, you learn all the hard lessons so that you, as the coach, can help them who come behind you do in 3 months what it took you to do in a year. And so my first year was, it was hard. There's times I wanted to give up and quit, and I was like, what am I doing? How am I like, what the heck's going on? And faced insecurities and fears, but and I didn't even know what I'd be selling too. That's the other thing. It took me to day 96, I hit revenue, but I didn't even know what I'd be selling. And I knew that I didn't know. And day 80, it magically appeared to me what to start selling, which I've told the Catapult people too. It's like, regardless if you know what you're going to be selling, just jump on the path and the way makes itself apparent to you. And, day 96, month 4, I did 5 grand US. And month 5, I did just over 30 grand US in a month. But I had no idea that was what was coming. I had no idea the transformation. I had no idea the challenges. I had no idea the breakthroughs. I just knew that I couldn't, if I sat here any longer and didn't take action, it would be another year around the sun where I wished I would have done more. And so I jumped, Andrew, I jumped off, and I'm so glad I did now because now it's working. I was laying in bed this morning giving thanks that there's, the first cohort, 8 Catapult members. Half of them are doing good, and the other half have blown up way faster than I thought they would. And I feel like a proud parent. And it's not all because of me. I provide the structure and the framework, but they're also bringing their own ingenious things to the table. And to have it working already, and to have seeing their lives being changed already. And they're hitting points 2 months in, 2 months and a week in, that it took me 9 months to hit. And I'm just like, wow, I have no idea where this is going to go, but they're all so excited that they jumped. And I'm so excited I jumped too. And I just thought maybe some of your listeners could resonate with that when you're sitting on, do I take a major shift? Do I do a major change? Well, I know what that felt like. And for years, I wanted that, Andrew. I wanted to break free, but it was only in the moments that I really got uncomfortable and jumped off cliffs, and without a plan, sometimes without an awareness of what's actually going to happen. I just was like, I can't live my life any longer the way I've been living it, because I have to face the fact that I'm on this reality, a mortal being, and one year is going to be my last year on earth. And I remember thinking if 2023 was my last year on earth, I'm going to go down swinging. And so that's what I did last year. And so for those watching 2024, I don't know that I have 2025 yet, but I know that I have 2024 still. And so what do I want to do with this year? What do you want to do with your year? I would ask your listeners. If you have a dream, if you have a calling, if you have something you're supposed to champion forward, if you have a community you're supposed to create, yeah, it'll solve monetization issues for you, get lots of clients. But if you have a vision, a purpose that your heart cannot shake, that you're currently not walking towards, this is a way of getting 5 years of business growth in 3 to 6 months. Literally 5 years of business growth. It leaps you forward in just 3 to 6 months. And it's hard. It isn't easy. It isn't free. There's a price tag in multiple ways on it. And many people will not do this because this is not for people that are not ready to go all into their dream. But for someone that is, it is.
I went through some massive shifts this year, so what you're saying is very, very relatable. And I think just to answer perhaps one other question that people might have, they might hear this as kind of a numbers game, like, oh, I've got to get thousands of people into a group to be able to monetize. And I know you're saying that's not the case, and you've seen your students grow faster than you in 2 months, and that's what's possible. But just love to reinforce that point that, look, this opportunity, you can grow fast, and it's not just a numbers game, right?
Oh, no. The whole purpose is, yeah, for impact. Some people grow faster than others, but Paul just picked 2 weeks ago. Paul just picked up 2 clients in his group. He hasn't even had advertising his stuff. They just saw what he's doing. And because his group is growing, the average group is growing 100 members a week. The average. The top 4 have had weeks of 2 to 450. No, that's not true. 420 was the highest growth week so far in my students. But 1 to 3% end up being your clients when you learn to monetize. Let me teach that at Catapult. And we're just starting that now. But yeah, you'll pick up clients, you'll pick up opportunities to speak, JV. All these students now, their connections are global. And you end up being the leader of leaders, Andrew. Because in Catapult, we teach to serve from the bottom up. You literally become the leader of all the leaders that gather in your group. So what happens in these niche-based groups, if it was about dog training or yoga or voice singing, whatever it is, people gather because of the niche. And a bunch of people gather that are never going to want to do your job as the leader of the group, because not a lot of people want to actually lead by service. Now, it pays off hugely for you in the end, but they want to gather where there's a lot of momentum. And these groups end up creating a lot of momentum and a lot of magnetism, which produces a lot of monetization. But you literally become, in your niche, the leader of leaders, because you're the one that houses and holds space for all these people in your group. So do you want to be a leader? Do you really care about the niche you say you care about? If so, then maybe it's time to start a movement. I don't know of any other way to start a movement than through the way we teach in Catapult. There might be, I just maybe don't know about it, but this allows for real connections that start online, and you can launch your live events in person from there. And you, within 3 to 6 months, your life will blow up. And I've lived it. It took me longer than my students. It took me like 1 year because I had no program, no coach. But in 1 year, I did 5,200 members in 1 year, which for me was good. Most of my students are going to blow that out of the water, and they'll be at 8 to 10,000 in 1 year. But that's okay. I went first, and my job was to find an easier way for them, and I did. And so now I'm just so proud of them. They're just blowing up.
Amazing. So everyone's got until April 30th to take advantage of a special 10% discount.
Yeah.
And they're able to book a discovery call with you, Amos, right?
Yeah. To take care of the discount, I'll give your listeners, they got to email me at support, and Andrew, you'll put this in the support@amosbracewell.com. In the comments or in the subject, put David Andrew Weeb. So Andrew, if you can give two, one is my email to email. They got to email before the end of day on the 30th. North American time, Eastern time. And also they got to book a discovery call with me using the link that you send, which is a sales page, but as an opportunity to book a discovery call. If they do those 2 things, whether the discovery call is on by the 30th, the discovery call can be later this week. That's fine. But I'll do a special arrangement for them for 10% off the Catapult program. Yeah.
Perfect. Amazing. It sounds like a really incredible opportunity to take advantage of. So don't let it pass you up. Any closing thoughts, Amos?
No, if this is for you, if it's not for you, just, ignore it, obviously. But if it's for you, if you got a big why and you don't want your year, you don't want to waste a year, you want to like maximize the leverage you can do this year, and you feel called to some purpose, some vision. You don't even have to have crystal clarity on what that is, but if you know you're meant to house space and hold space for a community to flourish and blossom and become the servant leader that will win in the end big time through this, book a call. Let's chat about it, see if it's a fit or not. And I saw what it did in my life, and I'm seeing what it's doing in the Catapult students' lives. It's shocking.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking this time, Amos. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Andrew. Thanks for having me.